Hello and welcome to Educator.com's AP Studio Art 2D design curriculum. Today we're going to be looking at a project called Texture. So we're going to be looking at visual textures and kind of how to make a creative image using visual texture as our emphasis. So let's jump right in. All right, so everything has a texture. Some textures are smooth and soft, some textures are fuzzy and, cozy, and some textures are prickly and will poke us and hurt us, but everything has a texture. So placing emphasis on a texture and not something else is a difficult part and the design problem for this project. So a lot of times what happens is we'll take a picture of texture, but it won't really exemplify texture as that principle or that element, and we'll have lots of extra stuff in our picture. So we really have to focus in on trying to create an image that shows texture visually. So creativity is extremely important. We do not want any flat images. So a lot of times we'll see interesting textures like a brick wall or some kind of rough kind of textured wall or a grate on the floor or something like that. And even though it has a texture to it, or even a smooth texture, even though it has a texture, we look at the picture and it looks more like a form photo, or it looks more like a flat photo. So make sure that whatever you decide to take pictures of, it's still an interesting photograph and that you really appreciate the type of texture that you're going to be photographing. Okay, so a great example are lots of different plants, and this almost looks like a seaweed type of plant, but you can see that the texture is kind of moving through the photo. It's kind of smooth on the edges. It almost feels like, or looks like one of those plants that almost feels like velvet, if if you've ever touched something like that, but they almost feel velvety and really soft, and we kind of get that from these edges that are being really soft and kind of highlighted on the edges of this photo. So this picture could also be, we could also consider that it has, a lot of negative space with some of these darker edges that are blurred out. But basically the emphasis for this image is really based on the texture and these kind of shapes that are being created. So this is a great example of texture.